So you've seen the title of the video, let's get into it. I just got back from watching 28 Years Later with a very close friend of mine. And right off the bat, I was not impressed with it, to be honest. I like 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. I think I would I can't even really say prefer one over the other. They're kind of two different movies, but I really like them. No, I'm not the greatest aficionado of the franchise or anything, but being a fan of the first two, you remember some basic things of the lore. So, for example, they're not zombies; they're infected, and any instance of blood of their blood, the blood of the infected, mixing with yours will make you become infected, and it's a rage virus as well. And the rage virus makes them act uncontrollably, just completely berserk. Now, this will be a somewhat of a spoiler impression, because some of the issues that I not some all of the issues that I have, it's not easy to outline them without spoiling some things. So right off the bat, it started off decent enough. Quite frankly, children got killed. That's always a plus. But it quickly, I went in there expecting more gore and more infected, killing humans and stuff. Oh, apologies for the background noise. I recently moved, and where I am now, you have people exhibiting unemployed behavior, and it's closer to the road, to the main road, so you will hear trucks and cars and so on passing. But getting back to the video. So it started off strong enough. It paradoxically quickly slowed down to a crawl, where it spent a lot of time developing this new village on the quarantine island and thing. And you're trying to get involved, invested, because you think it might pay off later. Most likely the village become overrun. Spoiler, that doesn't happen at all. But one of the things I don't like about this movie is it was clearly set up as part one of a part two. Neither of the two previous installments were set up that way. And when a movie is designed that way, it is very difficult to leave the movie feeling fulfilled, because they will introduce a lot of concepts that go nowhere in that movie. And you kind of feel like you've been swindled, or you have been swindled, because it's, if you want to continue the story, pay another however much for the tickets in your country, and thinking like, not that serious, I don't really have to watch your movie, so you trying to nickel and dime me this way is not the most effective way of encouraging me to watch more movies of your ilk. So, for example, I have barely watched American movies because of the whole invasion of feminism and so on. Just every now and then, if there's a franchise like this, and I haven't seen any marketing whatsoever. Perhaps if I saw the marketing, I wouldn't have gone to see it. But I digress. So bit of spoilers now. They set up things, for example, where in one scene the father and the son went to the mainland, presumably to gather food or resources or something. It was also like a we call it someday, rite of passage. I say name, coming of age, rite of passage. Those type of things. And in it, there was an infected girl that the father had in his sight. They use bows and arrows here, and the girl ran. The girl ran away from the father and the son. Now, if you are not familiar with the franchise, that may not seem strange to you, but given that the rage virus makes you just, completely mindless and attack persons, when I saw that, I'm like, wait, they have self-preservation thought processes now? What is going on here? And then later on, you found out that they actually have a social hierarchy, and they start to develop more social attributes. In one scene, the friend I was with, they said she was shocked because she was like, they're bathing. Yes, that they actually started to bathe in a river. And I don't know how she spotted this so much quicker than I did, but she spotted right away that one of them was pregnant. I don't even understand how that worked. So it's obvious that they were going for more, or the infected are developing a social order type of thing. And when I saw that, it was a little bit disappointing, Not because the concept isn't interesting, but 28 Days and the 28 franchise, if you can call it that, they often didn't follow that much. Or at the very least, if they copied, but didn't copy anything that I knew about. But when I saw the infected getting or having social order, I right away remembered, I think it's Land of the Dead. Yes, a movie in which the zombies started to have a social order. So I'm like, I've kind of already seen this, but all right, let's go. So the zombies now have a social order. There are these little villages that, honestly, the first scene kind of reminded me of Attack on Titan, because the zombies are now naked, and so it really looked like titans traversing through miniature titans traversing through the fields to attack the survivors and so on. So I was hoping that we would get a siege battle, because that's what it was. So no doubt the siege would happen in the next movie, because you know, if you have a local towns and you have a bunch of zombies, then eventually you will have a siege. So they have that. They have an alpha now, which again, it's not unique, but it's cool, but not unique. The friend I was with, she was obsessed over why the alpha is this large, and it's true that alpha is large. You first saw him in a silhouette form against the, I think it was a, yes, there was a tree. So this shot I did like, because they showed the regular zombie. It was looking up at the sun or dusk or something like that. So you could only see like their silhouette. And they showed the regular zombie walk up against a tree to give you a sense of scale. And then I saw another zombie that looked quite large. I'm like, wait, why him so big? And later on, yeah, my friend just kept looking at that and saying, why is this one so big? And they never answered that. They also never answered why or how they became, the zombies infected became more social. No idea about that. The, the pregnant zombie thing, pregnant infected, gave birth, and this is one of the stupidest things in the movie. The son and father split because the son caught the father cheating on his mother, and then the son and the mother went to see a doctor because the mother is sick. And this sick mother, she has cancer, by the way, and it has metastasized to infect her brain, to reach her brain. So she's delusional and so on. But she decided to help the infected mother deliver the baby. John was there. Anyway, somehow the baby isn't infected. So biologically, the argument here, no, or the excuse, the reason, I imagine, would be that the rage virus isn't small enough to cross the placenta, and thus it doesn't infect the baby. But later on, the alpha, it looked like it's the alpha's child, so the alpha impregnated the infected, which in terms of animal kingdom social hierarchy, that makes sense. In terms of the story, I'm not quite sure how the rage virus dissipate. They probably will. Anyway, and the rest of the movie from that point onward is pretty much the alpha trying to get his child back. And that was just a weird thing to me, because the child is not infected. So, but the alpha knows that it is child. But I don't know if the alpha knows that the child is not infected. So if the boy and the mother had left the infected mother there, and the pregnancy had come to term, to fruition, would the alpha and the other members kill the child because it's not infected, or would the knowledge that the uninfected child is his child override their rage programming to just kill anything that is not infected? So I don't know how that works, to be honest. And then the ending now, oh my god, the ending is a coup de grace, and funny enough, it was actually somewhat foreshadowed by one of the preview movies. One of the movies was Megan 2. Now I watched the first Megan. It was alright. It was kind of like Terminator and Child's Play, kind of. But it was a horror movie. It's supposed to be a horror movie. And Megan 2 is supposed to be a horror movie. But they played this song. Oh god, what was the name of the song? It was like, I think it was like Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. And that was just a very strange selection, because the first movie, the first Megan, was pitched as a horror movie. This is more like a comedy type thing, and it gave me tonal whiplash. And even apart from the background music, you saw a lot more humor being injected into Megan 2. And I did not understand that one bit. Because it was supposed to be a horror movie. So I don't know why they have all this humor thing in it. And the ending of 28 years later was something similar. Where suddenly, so the boy split again, the mother died. And he left the baby with his father, and then he, went off into the wilderness to find himself or some nonsense. But he was cornered, and some infected were running to him. And then this character, so they did a lot of red herrings and fake out and so on. This is another reason why it's so unfulfilling. In the opening sex sequence, when they killed the children, one child remained or survived. That child hid in a church. Now, there were two other characters who you would think maybe was that child. So even though the title said 28 years later, I thought, okay, maybe it's 28 years later from the initial infection, but maybe 12 years from this particular outburst that the movie is covering. So the child could be 12 years old. Then I saw another character, look around 28-ish, military, blonde hair. I said, okay, maybe that is the child. Neither of them was the child who survived. The child who survived in the church came at the end of the movie. And I kid you not, at the end of the movie, it transformed into a whole other movie. I'm talking, imagine Kick-Ass, but with zombies. Like, that was the movie. It was wild and quirky, and the infected were, or infected, not zombies. The infected were no longer this dangerous threat that was tension inducing and thing. People were just slicing them left, right, and center very easily. I'm like, what? I don't, huh? How did it end? I don't remember how it ended right now. Oh, it's bad when I say I don't remember how it ended, and I just saw the movie like hour and a half ago. But it was clearly baiting another sequel. I don't know. I'm not going to watch a sequel, but I'm just thoroughly disappointed. And I don't know what it is with Hollywood and them not being able to understand consistent tone anymore. Like, everything needs to have Marvel humor in it, like quips and jokes and things. I dislike it greatly. Anyway, that's been my quasi rant about 28 years later. Very disappointing for me because I was looking forward to that movie. I did not follow up on any of the marketing or the trailers or anything about it because, okay, the first two was good. Hope against hope that this one is good. Not really. If you're a fan of the first two, I don't quite see how you will be a fan of this. This is like Train to Busan and Train to Busan 2, the sequel. Like, the tonal shift between the two movies is that stark. But anyway, if you have watched 28 years later, let me know what your thoughts are about it. I'm curious to see how many persons found it disappointing or not at all what they expected, and how many persons actually liked it.